LCM, lowest common multiple. To find out how to work out lowest common multiple in a math problem, stay tuned. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Ideation HQ. My name is Sufyan Amin. Today I'll be going through a math tutorial and we'll be looking at how we can calculate the lowest common multiple between a few numbers. The calculation for lowest common multiple is important as it allows you to work out problems like adding and subtracting of fractions. Now let's see how we can work out lowest common multiple. Before we start working on the lowest common multiple, it's a good idea to revisit the term multiple. Now multiple, as the name suggests, means multiplication. So for example, if I have the number 5, the multiples of 5 will be 5, 10, 15, 20. And if I've got the number 6, the multiples of 6 will be 6, 12, 18, 24, 36, and so on and so forth. The steps to calculating the lowest common multiple is similar to calculating the highest common factor with a slight difference. Now, if you would like a recap on how do we calculate the highest common factor, please watch the video from the link here. So for example, I have the number 7 and then the number 18. Now I would like to find out what is the lowest common multiple for these two numbers. As usual, I want to begin by listing down my prime numbers for reference. And if you have already memorized the prime numbers, then you don't have to actually write this down. But I'm going to be referring to this prime number row at the top here as we are working through and calculating the lowest common multiple. So here I've got prime numbers listed down which are less than 20. We'll just use that for the time being. And let's see how we are going to now calculate the lowest common multiple. So we begin by having the two numbers side by side, and then we will draw two lines. We will start with the smallest prime number. However, unlike the calculation of highest common factor, where both these numbers needs to be divisible by the prime number, in this instant, this does not have to be the case. We only need one of the numbers to be divisible with the prime number for us to be able to proceed to the next line. Let me show you how this is done. So the smallest prime number that I'm going to start with is number 2. And the check that we need to perform is whether number 2 is divisible by any of these numbers. The answer is yes, because number 2, even though it's not divisible by 7, is divisible by 18. So I'm going to put number 2 on the left side, and since 7 cannot be divided by 2, I'm just going to copy the 7 down to the next row. However, 18 can be divided by 2 and the answer is 9, so I'm going to put 9 here. We now need to check whether these two numbers, now 7 and 9, can be further divided by 2. The answer is no, because both these numbers are odd numbers. So we'll then move on to the next prime number, which is number 3. And then we need to check whether either one of this number is divisible by 3. So we know that 9 is divisible by 3. Even though 7 is not divisible, that's fine. We'll copy 7 down and then we'll work out what 9 divided by 3 is. And in this case here, the answer is 3. Let's now do another check. And we're now going to check whether the numbers in this row can still be divided by 3. So we know that the number 3 here can be further divided by 3. So I'm going to write down 3 here, create another row, copy 7 down. 3 divided by 3 will be 1. You can see here that the second number has been reduced to 1. However, we cannot stop yet because both these numbers have not been reduced to 1. As you can see, number 7 is still here. So we need now to move on to the next prime number, which is number 5. And 5 cannot be divided by 7, so we'll skip number 5 and then we'll move on to number 7. So clearly 7 can be divided by 7, so I am now going to list down number 7 here. Let's now work out 7 divided by 7, that's 1, and then copy the 1 down from the second number. You can see here now that both numbers have been reduced to 1, and you can stop at this point when both numbers have been reduced to 1. So how do we work out the lowest common multiple? So the lowest common multiple, I'm using the term LCM, will be equals to all the numbers that you see on the left side here, and you have to multiply them together. So in this case here, it's 2 times 3 times 3 times 7. Hey Google, what's 2 times 3 times 3 times 7?
The answer is 126.
So you can work it out with your calculator, or you can even ask Google. So in this case here, the LCM, or the lowest common multiple, for 7 and 18 is 126. So we have worked out the lowest common multiple for two numbers. Now the step to working out lowest common multiple for 3, 4, or even 5 numbers will be the same. In this example, I'll show you how we can work out the lowest common multiple for 3 numbers. So now I have 3 numbers, 5, 12, and 18, and I would like to work out the lowest common multiple for all these 3 numbers. So let's list the numbers side by side and then draw a vertical line with a horizontal line. We are now going to start with the smallest prime number, which is the number 2. So you can see that even though 5 cannot be divided by 2, 12 and 18 can be divided by 2, which means that I can use 2 and place it on the left hand side. Since 5 cannot be divided by 2, I'll just copy it down, and then now I need to calculate what's 12 divided by 2. The answer is 6, and then 18 divided by 2, the answer is 9. Let's now check whether the numbers in the second row can be further divided by 2. So here you can see that 5 and 9 cannot be divided by 2, however 6 can be divided by 2. So we can still use 2 and put it on the left hand side. Let's create another row now. Since 5 and 9 cannot be divided by 2, I'm going to copy it down, and 6 divided by 2, the answer is 3. Let's do a check on the third row to see if these numbers can be divided by 2. Well, the answer is no, so we need now to move on to the next prime number, which is number 3. So we will repeat the same process. Number 3 and number 9 can be divided by 3. So I'll put 3 here. I'll create another row. I'll copy 5 down. 3 divided by 3 will be 1. 9 divided by 3 will be 3. I will now check the fourth row to see if any of the numbers can be divided by 3. Well, the last number here, which is 3, can be divided by 3. So I'll put 3 down here on the left hand side, and I'll work out what's 3 divided by 3, and that's 1. Okay. And similarly, we'll check this row to see if we can further divide any of these numbers by 3. Well, we're left with only one number now, which is the number 5. So let's move on to the next prime number, which is 5. Put it on my left side, and now I'll work out what's 5 divided by 5, which is 1, and I'll copy the other 2 numbers, which are 1, and I'll bring them down to the last row. This is the point where you will stop. So in this case here, to determine the lowest common multiple for 5, 12, and 18, we need to multiply the numbers on the left, which will be 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. Hey Google, what's 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5?
The answer is 180.
So there you have it. The answer is 180. So the lowest common multiple for 5, 12, and 18 is 180. You will notice that the step to calculating the lowest common multiple is pretty much the same as highest common factor. However, the difference is that for lowest common multiple, all the numbers needs to be reduced to 1. It is important that you do not confuse working out lowest common multiple and highest common factor. And we have now come to the end of today's tutorial. If you find that this tutorial is beneficial, please hit on the like button. And if you want to see more math tutorials from us, Ideation HQ, please subscribe to our channel. I'll see you again soon. Bye.